Hello guys, welcome to my channel Chem Insider. So in today's class we are going to discuss about certain more concepts from Bohr's model of an atom, and in this particular video we are going to discuss about how Bohr's theory of explanation for a model of an atom can be used for line spectrum of hydrogen. Yes, in the previous videos, before previous video, we have discussed about the line spectrum of hydrogen, right, where there are 5 types of series for a hydrogen atom. Those are Lyman series, Balmer series, Paskin, Brackett and Freund series. Each of them have their respective visible region, the ultraviolet region and infrared region for the electromagnetic radiation spectrum. So using that particular theory, and we have to compare that with Bohr's model of an atom. Okay, so therefore now for the Bohr's model of an atom, he proposed 4 concepts. First one was, if electron is present in an atom, those electrons will be revolving around the nucleus in a certain stationary orbits in a circular path, and each of these orbits will be having particular amount of energy. Okay, and in the second point he said that energy of that particular orbit does not alter. The energy of particular orbit or electron does not change with respect to time, but it can jump, it can get excited from lower level to higher level, or get demoted from higher level to lower level. And in the third point he gave the expression for calculating the required frequency in order to get excited from lower to higher or higher to lower. And further in the fourth point he said that angular momentum of that given electron will be equal to integral multiples of h by 2 pi. So now in this particular video we are going to concentrate more about the second proposition or the second postulates of Bohr's model of an atom, in which he said that an electron has to have certain amount of energy in order to get excited from lower level to higher level. For the Bohr model of an atom, let us say of a hydrogen atom, it is at a primary quantized state of n is equal to 1. So let us consider this is a nucleus and this level is n is equal to 1, and we have one more level n is equal to 2. So this will be n is equal to 2. So the energy of the particular that energy level E1, E2. Okay, we have an electron present over here. So this electron, in order to get excited to the second level, it has to have certain amount of energy. Okay, so now if you remember the equation given for energy of a radiation, energy of a hydrogen atom, it is given by the relation E is equal to 2.18 into 10 power minus 18 1 by n square, right? Energy of a particular level. Energy of a particular level is given by the formula E is equal to 2.18 into 10 power minus 18 into 1 by n square, which is what we have observed in the applications of Bohr's concepts. So where 2.18 into 10 power minus 18 joules is nothing but our Rydberg constant RH. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write down it as RH itself. So, sorry, this is minus. So, E is equal to minus RH into 1 by n square. Okay. So, let us take this as equation 1. Now, for the energy level of E1 and E2 state, what happens is E1 is equal to minus RH into 1 by n1 square, right? E1 is equal to minus RH into 1 by n1 square. And E2 will be equal to minus RH into 1 by n2 square. So this will be our energy of the second level. So now energy required for the electron to jump from E1 to E2 is nothing but the energy difference between E1 and E2. So if electron has to jump for E2, it has to gain energy which makes its own energy along with the energy gained to be equal to E2. So therefore, if delta E is the energy difference between energy levels E1 and E2, then it can be E can be given as E2 minus E1. Right? It will be given as E2 minus E1. Substitute E2 minus E1 here. Delta E is equal to minus RH into 1 by n2 square minus of minus RH into 1 by n1 square, right? So now on simplifying this equation, minus of minus gets plus, so we'll put that in the front, so that will be RH into 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. So what I am doing here is I am taking this in the other side and taking RH as common for both. We get delta is equal to RH 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. So this is the expression for energy difference of two levels, energy difference of two levels in a hydrogen atom. So that is delta E is equal to RH of 1 by n1 square minus 1 to n1 by n2 square, where n1 is the initial state, n2 is the final state. If you want, you can take this as NF, Ni for initial state, NF for final state. Okay, it doesn't matter whatever you take. So you have to be specific with the terms. So N1 is the initial state, N2 is the final state. So if you determine these E values, so let us take this as equation 2. Okay, so now we have got the expression of energy with respect to the particular state value. Therefore, now we also know that E is equal to h nu, right? E is equal to h nu. So if you write down, so instead of taking delta E, I'll just consider it as E because nothing but the difference in energy. So we'll take E is equal to h nu. So delta E will be equal to h into delta nu. Okay, change in energy can also be given as delta E is equal to h into delta V. So delta mu is equal to delta E by h, So substitute the value of delta E in this equation. We get RH divided by h into 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. So this is delta mu. Okay, so that is delta mu is equal to RH value is mine 2.18 into 10 power minus 18 divided by 6.626 into 10 power minus 34 of 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. Okay, so on dividing these two we get delta mu is equal to 3.29 into 10 power 15 into 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square in terms of hertz, frequency of V, that is hertz. So now instead of taking delta, we'll just consider V. Okay, so mu is equal to 3.29 into 10 power 15 hertz. Further, what we know is, we know one more expression for determining wave number. So that is mu is equal to C by lambda. Right, mu is equal to C by lambda. And one thing we also know is 1 by lambda is equal to nu bar. Right, 1 by lambda is equal to nu bar. So now what I'm going to do is, I'll make it a bit simpler. So that is E is equal to h nu. So if we substitute that value, E is equal to h c by lambda over here. E is equal to h c by lambda. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to replace 1 by lambda as mu bar. E is equal to h into c into mu bar, because mu bar is equal to 1 by lambda. Mu bar is equal to 1 by lambda. So therefore, substituting that value here, we get E is equal to hc mu bar. Since we have already sent h to the denominator of E, and now I'm going to send c to the denominator in order to get our mu bar. So mu bar is equal to 3.29 into 10 power 15 divided by 3 into 10 power 8 meters per second into 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. So therefore mu bar is equal to 1.097 into 10 power 7 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. This is in terms of per meter. So if you observe here, what we have got here is, using Bohr's model of an atom, we have determined the formula of Rydberg's hydrogen line spectrum. That is nothing but mu bar is equal to 1.097 into 10 power 7 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square in terms of meter. So what we are saying is, by using Bohr's model of an atom, we can explain the hydrogen line spectra of line emission spectra of hydrogen. Okay. So if we have still doubts regarding this, go through the derivation once again, and we have used this expression. We have got this expression in the previous one video, not one but yesterday, the day before yesterday video. We have observed the equation of this mu bar in terms of. So what we have did here is we have derived the expression of mu bar using Bohr's postulates for a model of an atom. Okay. So now let us solve an example. So let us solve a problem using that expression. Okay. So now we have given a question. So what will be the frequency and wavelength of a photon emitted while it is jumping from n is equal to 5, while it is jumping from n is equal to 5 to n is equal to 2 state of hydrogen atom. So what we have given is, if you consider this as n is equal to 2 and this is 3, 4 and 5. So now we have a photon which is jumping from n is equal to 5 state to n is equal to 2. So they have asked us to determine the wavelength and frequency of the photon emitted radiation of the photon. Okay. So if you observe here, they have given us the initial line of spectrum is 2. So therefore it clearly is from Balmer series. This is from Balmer series and it appears in the visible region of electromagnetic radiation. Okay, so that is one clear. So we'll write it down first. Solution. Since photon is emitting radiation, while coming back from n is equal to 5 to n is equal to 2, it belongs to Balmer series. So now let us determine the frequency and wavelength of this photon. For that we have the formula. For first frequency, we have wave number equation and we also have a frequency equation. So frequency of that equation is given by mu is equal to delta E by H, right? Delta E by H, where delta E is RH into 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. So here n1, so what are the given values? n1 is equal to 2, n2 is equal to 5 and RH is equal to 2.18 into 10 power minus 18 and H is equal to 6.626 into 10 power minus 34 joule second. So these are the constants which I have given. So now let us calculate the frequency of this radiation which is emitted by photon when it is jumping back from n is equal to 5 to n is equal to 2. So substituting that values, RH is 2.18 into 10 power minus 18 divided by 6.626 into 10 power minus 34. So 1 by n1 square is 2 square minus 1 by 5 square. That is equals to 3.29 into 10 power 15, 1 by 4 minus 1 by 25 is equal to 3.29 into 10 power 15 into 0.21. So 1 by 4 minus 1 by 25 is 0.21. So in multiplying these two we get 6.91 into 10 power 14 Hertz. So this is the frequency of emitted radiation of the emitted photon. So frequency of the radiation emitted by the photon while jumping from n5 to n2 state. So this is mu is equal to 6.91 into 10 power 14 Hertz. So next what we have to determine is, we have to determine the lambda value, that is the wavelength value. We know mu is equal to C by lambda. That implies lambda is equal to C by mu. That is equals to 3 into 10 power 8 meters per second divided by mu 6.91 into 10 power 14 Hertz. So that gives us 434 into 10 power minus 9 meters, which can also be written as lambda is equal to 434 nanometer. So this is the wavelength of radiation emitted by a photon when it is jumping from N5 to N2 state. Okay, so this is about the problem. So what we have to determine here is, we need to determine the frequency and wavelength of the radiation which is emitted from a photon when it is returned from N5 to N2 state. Wait, not photon, it is considered as an atom of electron, atom or electron. Okay, so this is about the energy released and the frequency and wavelength of the radiation which was emitted by the electron of N5 to N2 state. Okay, so next we'll discuss about is limitation of Bohr's model atom. So Bohr's model atom, even though was better when compared to Rutherford's model of an atom, even though it has certain topics which was explained clearly by Bohr which were not clearly explained by Rutherford, Bohr's model of that particular hydrogen atom had some of its own limitation. So out of them, the first one is the very important one. This Bohr's model of an atom is useful to study only hydrogen and hydrogen-like spectra, hydrogen-like atoms line emission spectra. That is, it is useful only for studies of hydrogen and hydrogen-like spectra, hydrogen and hydrogen-like atoms emission spectrum. So it was only useful for studies of line emission spectra of hydrogen and hydrogen-like. So hydrogen-like nothing but He plus, Li2 plus and beryllium 3 plus. So it was useful for only those atoms systems which had only one electron. So therefore it is clearly not useful for multi-electron systems. So the line emission spectrum of multi-electron system was not explained by Bohr's model of an atom. Okay. Second point is Bohr's model of an atom did not explain the clear spectral lines which had fine division between them. Bohr's model of an atom did not explain the fine lines present in the line emission spectrum of hydrogen or hydrogen-like atoms, and further they have failed to explain the bonding between molecules in order to form a compound or a different type of species. Okay, so it did not explain the bonding which can cause for a molecule to be forming in a case of compounds or any other different species. So Bohr's model of an atom was considered as a not so good expression for multi-electron systems. It was useful only for those systems which had one electrons involved in it. If there is, for example, if you have multi-electron system, it did not explain their particular spectra, how we can observe the spectra of those multi-electron system. So these are the limitations of Bohr's model atom. This particular limitation led to a new model of an atom, that is a complete change in the physics matters, that is classical physics to quantum physics. This quantum physics explained each and every concepts of atom, its structure and how it is getting converted to form a compound, etc. And that model is called quantum model of an atom, which we are going to discuss in the next video. I hope you have understood all these concepts which I explained today. If you have any doubt regarding these concepts which I have explained, please do comment down below. Share this channel among your friends so that they can use of these videos which I am uploading every day. Thank you for watching.